Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. Now this video is going to be about a product range that we're putting under the umbrella of atomic entanglement tools. And why we've done this is because firstly with entanglement, that is a reference to a quantum physics term which is called quantum entanglement. And quantum entanglement is a connection that bypasses time and distance, right? I guess you could say call it space-time. It's bypassing space-time. So, which is what these products are facilitating. These are quantum-based products, okay? And you as a consciousness and everything we perceive in the physical, its foundation, its building blocks of what we experience in the physical is frequency and energy. And that all comes from the quantum, okay? So that's why we've brought that word into it. Now, in regards to atomic, we're also obviously referencing the atomic level, right, of where these frequencies from the quantum then get expressed into the physical. And why we've used that is because when I was initially getting the design to provide these products, which are based on 3 tensor rings interwoven with each other, and I'll show the physical visualization of it in a minute, is quickly it reminded me of the structure of an atom, which is of course made out of 3 components: protons, neutrons, and electrons, and you'll get to see that in a minute. Now, the 2 products we're going to be talking about are, one is called the Generation Calibrator, and the other one is called the Gateway Facilitator. And they look similar, but they facilitate two different energetics, what we call qubits in tensor technology community. And what I also want to say is when I reference energetics, this is what we associate in the human way of perceiving as genetics, right? So we're talking about gene expression, we're talking about DNA here, we're talking about programming. And what I like to self-empower my clients are about is that you're a creative reality, right? To become self-empowered and become interested and invested into what are your infinite potential and capabilities and what you want to create here. And these products are great products to support that journey for you. So let's get started into it. Now, the first one we're going to talk about, which is the Generation Calibrator. We consider this a broadcasting tool. And I'm going to show you one of them here, right? So they come in for both the Generation Calibrator and Gateway Facilitator. They come in 3 sizes: small, medium, and large. This is the medium of the Generation Calibrator. And we consider this a broadcasting tool. It's cut with the infinite qubit, so it's providing the infinite energetics. So therefore, that we can broadcast things to infinite measure, right? Which I guess we could say is beyond measurement, right? And how does that connect into entanglement, right? Because as I said, entanglement, quantum entanglement, is a connection that bypasses space-time. And really, when we look at space-time, space is distance, and this is bypassing it, right? So when you voice an intention into this or put an intention note into it, then it's got the ability to broadcast that infinitely. And there's no other product out there like that, because the qubit measure that we utilize is only found here at Truly Holistic. Okay, so very much like, and we'll bring up this, right? So this is the same product that you can see up here, and you can see that someone's written the note gratitude into it. And of course, this product then broadcasts that, the energy signature of gratitude, right? And what am I referencing as energy signature? Well, energy signature is its foundation of what it is, right? Based on frequencies, based on consciousness. For example, my unique energy signature is me as the soul, what and who I am authentically and infinitely. Okay, which is void of any conditioning. right? Because we get conditioning as the human, which we become this conditioned version of self. But what are we authentically before all of that? And what we will always be infinitely and authentically, right? So that's what I mean by energy signature. Now, every sustenance in this physical world or life form in this physical world is bound and connected to an energy signature, okay? And this also applies to a self-empowering system we create, broadcasting system, where it teaches you to use your knowledge of the physical world, right? Such as, I'll bring it up here, such as minerals, such as superfoods, such as crystals, programming the crystal, medicinal herbs, vitamins, and so on. So digestive enzymes. It teaches you to take that, but how are you going to apply it? You're not going to go out to a supplement store and go and buy that supplement or go and buy the vitamin. You're going to broadcast the energy signature of it. So you're going to bypass the middleman, so to speak. And that is your ability, and that's what that system provides to you as a self-empowerment system, okay? And then you use a broadcasting tool to then amplify and broadcast that energy signature into the body, to an organ, to a body part, in a glass of water, in a plate of food, into your environment. It's amazing stuff, really. So let's come back to this here, because there's a testimonial regarding this particular product. And as you can see here, it says here, we would definitely recommend a tool for the car. Now, when I originally created this tool, that wasn't an idea or suggestion I originally had. This led to obviously us making a smaller version of that particular product, which I'll show you in a minute. But it came from this testimonial. So we would definitely recommend a tool for the car. Ours hangs from the rear view mirror since we bought it. The atmosphere in the car is always relaxed during traffic jams. Solutions present themselves, right? So things unfold the way you'd like it to be, right? Because I always talk about our greatest desires being our heart's desires, right? And these quantum-based consciousness tools are heart-based tools because the heart facilitates what we infinitely, authentically are. Our energy signature is the soul, right? So when we use a product like this, which is very much aligned with that, using our intention, using it to expand and broadcast that intention, then it's amazing how things unfold and reflect what you desire from the heart, right? So that was interesting. And of course, on part of that testimonial, mentioned that they use it with the broadcasting system, which we'll talk about in a minute, but also placing it in her daughter's room to improve their mood at work, right? Because it changes the environment, right? Using on headaches, digestive issues, you name it, okay? So we made a smaller version of it, which is that, right? And I'm going to show you a photo of how you would place that in the car. I did this myself, right? So you just hang it like that in the car, right? And the cool thing about these products, when they are in their spherical form, is they give a sunshine effect, right? So when they're broadcasting, they are broadcasting 360 degrees, right? Because your typical tensor ring, right, such as this one here, is when we place it like that, it's providing a light, an anchor of light or anchor of energy through the ring, right? Okay. So when you then put it into a form that's spherical, then you're creating those columns that go in a 360 degree configuration. Okay. So we've made the Generation Calibrator in the medium size, the smaller size, but also we've made in a bigger size or larger size, which will show you now. So that's it there. I got a custom job to do for a client who wanted 2 of these. And why? And they wanted them in a bigger style because they were going to incorporate with crystals, right? Because you can put anything, a crystal in itself has a field to it, an energy field. But when you use a broadcasting tool like this, then you can expand its reach and its field by putting a physical crystal in it, or even simply writing an intention note of the crystal you want the energy signature to be broadcast. Now, also you can see in this image that obviously we're showing the tool in its spherical form, right, which is made up of 3 tensor rings. But you've also got the options of collapsing it down, like in this photo here, where it's like just your typical tensor ring, but it's made up of 3 tensor rings. And it's already been shown that when you incorporate more than 1 ring, it does amplify the field. And of course, when it's in that collapse form, it's now back to a column effect, not a 360-degree effect. Also, another formation you can put it in is this, which is a triquetra. Okay, and this is actually what you're seeing here in this photo is not the Generation Calibrator, but the Gateway Facilitator, which is not using the infinite qubit or infinite energetics. It's using the ascension qubit, which is what we coin as the water element. Okay, and when we look at the consciousness, right, the energy signature of a life form, the water element is its source of its consciousness. Okay, so whenever you place anything on that, you're connecting it to its original blueprint of what it authentically is at its source level. So when you have it in that format, that's perfect for putting like your fruit bowl over top of that, right? So it's connecting all that fruit in that bowl, which will preserve itself, right? Instead of going off quickly. But also it's just gonna, when you then eat the fruit or eat the substance, it's just going to be a more bioavailable format for you to digest and assimilate as well. So it's pretty cool. So going back to the Generation Calibrator, it's a broadcasting tool, and we incorporate it with a system called the broadcasting system. Before we get into the broadcasting system, I'm going to show you this. This is another testimonial regarding the Generation Calibrator. And this was amazing, right? Because again, this tool's got infinite potential, right? And as I said with the last testimonial, people that buy this tool find different ways of using it. Now, with this particular client, they have a daughter that requires quite a lot of care, and she noticed that her daughter's lips were gone paler in color, right? So checked the O2 saturation, and it was only 80%, right? So as I say, it should be 95, 96% or more. Now, what she did during, this was during the middle of the night, she placed the intention note of oxygen, right, which is an element which is important in regards to a respiratory system being able to breathe, into the Generation Calibrator in a spherical form so it could broadcast that 360 degrees in her bedroom, right, in where the daughter was sleeping. Now, the next day, her daughter's lips had returned back to its normal color, and when she had her O2 saturations checked, had gone back to 95%. So that's pretty amazing, right? Now, we're going to go to the broadcasting system, bring this back up. So the broadcasting system is a system that utilizes the broadcasting tool. And we started off using a tool called the sun ring. So you'll notice on this image or photo down the bottom, it says how to broadcast using the sun ring. Now, the sun ring is a broadcaster, right? And funnily enough, the Latin word for sun is sol. So again, it connects what we perceive as our outside world as the sun in relevance to the light or connection of one's energy signature, which I mentioned before as the soul. Okay, so but the sun ring has got limitations in regards to its potential to expanding and broadcasting what you place within it. We found that the product that Truly Holistic's now making in regards to the Generation Calibrator has a far greater reach. So we're tending to use that a little bit more now. Plus, I'm merely a distributor of the sun ring that comes out of Canada, where I make and create the tensor tools here in New Zealand. Now, it's a system, that you have a number of charts, as I mentioned in here. You have a chart with all 9 minerals on it, right? All the elements that make up the periodic table, the elements. A superfoods chart, right, of all the highly mineralized superfoods from all corners of the world. It has a chart with all the most common and powerful crystals on it. It's got a chart that teaches you to program a crystal with a particular intention. It's got 2 charts of medicinal herbs, again, from all the corners and cultures of the world that that have been shown to be very highly beneficial. All the vitamins. You also, within there, you get a chart which is called the cleanse chart, which identifies what organ or area of the body that requires cleansing. And then you go back to the broadcast chart, which is the homepage, to find out, hey, what mineral, what vitamin, what superfood, what medicinal herb, what ascension oil is required to cleanse that particular organ, right? And the great thing about this system, it teaches you your superpowers of attention and intention, right? Because you're writing an intention note or voicing your intention into the product. But also you can close your eyes, because this is a distance healing tool as well. Remember, it's a quantum-based tool that bypasses distance, right? This is why I can do my job working on clients all over the world, right? Now, so you can use your attention to direct and guide where you want that energy to go, right? So, for example, you're holding that, you're voicing an intention in it, or you're placing an intention note, and you want it to go to your liver. All you do is you close your eyes and you just visualize the liver. Then you're using your attention, or to look at it, to direct that energy to that specific organ. Okay, we've done that so many times with clients and they're blown away. I remember doing a demonstration of free healing for someone over in Australia, and she knew something was up with her liver. So we got into the broadcasting system, went to the superfood chart, and it went to aloe vera. And I was like, okay, well, let's do that. Wrote it on a note, placed it within a broadcasting tool such as this one. And this tool was on the microphone, on the video. And I told the client, close your eyes and focus on your liver, right, to direct that energy there. Now, straight away, within seconds, she was like, wow, my energy is just increased big time, right? Skyrocketed. And I go, okay, that's the indication that the liver's letting go of stuff it needs to let go, right? To cleanse itself. Because simply a cleanse or a detoxification is to provide flow to an area that was once congested, right? So I told her, I said, you just tell me when all of a sudden that plateaus off and it starts to drop again. So about a minute and a half later, she goes, yeah, it's starting to do that. I took away the tool and the intention note. Now she asked me, she goes, why did you do that? And I go, well, that was your body's communication or indication to you that you could stop there, right? And why it was important to stop there is because you don't want to cleanse too quickly, because if you cleanse too quickly, that's called a healing crisis, because you're healing, but you're healing so quickly that all of a sudden you're not going to feel very good. You're going to feel sick, or you're going to feel like I need to lie down. You're going to be out for a few hours or for a few days. So this system teaches you your superpowers of attention and tension, but also the little cues that the body's always giving you. So you create a greater connection to your own body. It's a wonderful system that is associated with the Generation Calibrator or the Sun Ring tool. Okay. Let's have a look. Now, another thing cool about that system is you can do little games and play around with your friends, because you can write, whether you got the Sun Ring or the Generation Calibrator, and you can write the note of lemon and get them to put their finger in the tool, and they will start to taste the acidity in their mouth like there's a lemon in their mouth. Play around with that. It's pretty cool. Because again, and that's all based on just its energy signature, right? It's a realization to a lot of people that everything we perceive in the physical is merely frequencies, it's energy. Okay. So let's go to the Gateway Facilitator. Okay. And the Gateway Facilitator is the medium size is that one, right? And I'll show that. So so you can see the size difference, right? So this is the Generation Calibrator, the broadcaster. This is the Gateway Facilitator. As I mentioned, this connects a substance or a life form to its source consciousness, okay, which is more about a reconnection of something, where this is more about broadcasting something, okay? So this is the medium size, and again, we've also made that in 3 different formats. So this is the smaller one, and that's the medium there. And then this is the large one. That's the large one there, which a wee while ago back, that was a custom job for somebody. Now it's readily available on the website. And this tool, but more in the this size format, is a makeup of our electroculture kit. And our electroculture kit is made up of this tool and 4 gridded pyramids, which you can utilize in your garden or vegetable garden. Because what we want to do in regards to plants or plant growth is to connect it into more of its consciousness. Okay, so this is the particular energetic we utilize for that. But as I say, as we mentioned or showed you before, you can use it. This is the bigger version. We put it in that triquetra formation, where you can put like a fruit bowl or something like that on top of it, or a plate of food. Okay. So here's another example of the Gateway Facilitator, where I placed it in a raised garden bed, right? And again, when it's in that spherical form, it's got a 360-degree effect, sunshine effect, where it's supporting the growth of the plants or supporting the growth of what's around it. So that's a great way of utilizing it. And that's why we incorporated it with the electroculture kit. Now that also includes, in regards to growth, that involves all the elements too, right? Because when we talk about connecting into more of our consciousness, our energy signature is spliced amongst a multitude of realities. And why it does that is to amplify its ability to convert experience into wisdom. That's how it expands itself as a consciousness. That's why we're here. So how does that connect to all plants, any life form that we perceive in this physical world? Well, using that tool, you're not just bringing in the potential of magnesium, say a magnesium in this reality, you're bringing forth its potential over a multitude of realities or universes of that magnesium, right? Which kind of rounds its holistic viewpoint on what this can facilitate you and what it can provide you. So in that sense, we kind of connect it with a science which is called ORME, or ORME, which is ORME, and which is orbitally monoatomic rearranged elements. Okay. And what that simply means is, what they found was, when they would isolate an element, but they changed its environment, they realized and they noticed that the element flipped into a different element in regards to its structure. And what they came to find was that original element was shifting in and out of dimensional states, right? So that element may appear to us like this in this reality, but then they were seeing a representation of it in another reality, which is based on quantum entanglement. As I mentioned, what this title of this video is all about: atomic entanglement, right? Which we're referencing to quantum entanglement. Okay. Now, in fact, in the broadcasting system, there is a chart based on this phenomena that I'm talking about now in regards to ORME and ORME, where you can facilitate not only magnesium, or the greatest potential of magnesium here, but over a multiverse. Okay. Now, another thing I want to make sure that we want to mention here is that whether we're using the Gateway Facilitator or the Generation Calibrator, when we are broadcasting the energy signature of something, let's use the example of cacao, right, which is what all chocolate's made of. We are bringing through 100% of its medicinal value through intending it, through voice, or through an intention note. Now, if you are buying cacao, right, let's say it's heirloom cacao from your natural health store, you got to realize that the medicinal value of that cacao is dependent on the soil and what's in the soil, right, where it's grown, but also all the people that are involved that are growing it, they're harvesting it, they're processing it, they're packaging it, that are selling it, and they all impart their effect on that final product that you eventually get. So how much of that medicinal value, authenticity of cacao do you actually get? And this is not even taking into account you having to consume it and the digestive system breaking it down and assimilating it. And you might not have a digestive system that has the ability to do that. How much are you eventually getting out of that product? Compared to if you use this tool, part of the broadcasting system, right? You are broadcasting its 100% medicinal value, right? Its energy signature. We're cutting out the middleman. And through your attention, you direct it straight to where you want it in the body. It bypasses the digestive system. You can see how powerful this is, how powerful these tools are. You can play around with them. They've got infinite potential, right? So I hope you really enjoyed the video and some of the visual representation that we've shown. I'm just going to make sure that we've gone through them all, and I'm pretty sure we did. Oh, last one I want to show, the small version of the Gateway Facilitator. We also have that in the version as a pendant, right? So there is actually, on our product store, there is a custom pendant option. And if you go into that page, there are a number of different pendants, and one of them now is that option of having it as a pendant. And what we'd do is we'd braze it in that formation so it just stays in a spherical form. When it's that small anyway, it's nearly impossible to complete collapse it down into like this here when it's collapsed down. But that's, yeah, checking on my product store. So if you're interested in buying either the Generation Calibrator or Gateway Facilitator, go to my product store at trulyholistic.net/products/ you'll see those two products out there now in small, medium, and large variations and sizes. Also, we have the broadcasting system also on my product store. Go and check that out, which obviously comes with the Generation Calibrator or the Sun Ring, depending what you want, and also depending where you are in the world too. So make sure to go and check those out. If you've really enjoyed the video, make sure to like the video. If you're new to my channel, subscribe to the channel. Push the notification bell so you can be notified when the next video is on. Until next time, catch you later.